Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Dandavat pranams. Okay, so yesterday we learned 2 verses and we started discussing them. Today we'll continue. We'll recite those verses together. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Padasevanam Archanam Bandanam Dasyam Sakyam Atmani Vedanam Iti Pungsarpita Vishnu Bhaktischan Navalakshana Kriyeta Bhagavatyada Tan Manye Ditam Utamam. Prahlad Maharaj told his father, I think the best thing I've learned in the 60,000 years I was present in the womb of my mother Kayadu is the following. So people may say, how is it possible that he was doing austerities for 60,000 years in the womb of his mother? Generally, ladies have their child in their womb for 9 months. But in the time of Satya Yuga, at that time people lived to be over 100,000 years old. And they were very intelligent and they could perform meditation for 10,000 years at one time. You can imagine sitting and doing meditation in one place for 10,000 years. And your body's life was present in your bones. Therefore, without taking any food, you could survive for a long time. Your life air, your prana was in your bone marrow. So you could live for thousands of years without having to eat. And then the next age came, Treta Yuga, and you lived for 1,000 years. The next age came, Dwapar Yuga. No, Treta 10,000 years, Dwapar 1,000 years up to, and then Kali Yuga up to 100 years, as we see. So, in Kali Yuga it said, Annagata Pran, life is in food. You have to eat grains or you have to eat foodstuffs in order to be strong and healthy and live nicely. So Prahlad told this to Hiranyakashipu, and he was in his womb of his mother for 60,000 years. So he said, the best thing is Shravanam. We heard yesterday. We should hear about things which are uplifting the spirit or transcendental subject matters. Krishna says in the Gita, Nasato vidyate bhavo na bhavo vidyate sata. You should focus on things which are truthful and are according to the nature of reality. People think what is truthful is actually, people have this tendency to think what is my truth or your truth or his truth or her truth. And they think truth is subjective and whatever is your truth, just follow your truth, man. Like, oh, just follow your truth, man. So this is what people tend to believe. And even people who have firm conviction that I am telling the truth, ultimately they are under some kind of illusion. They believe it is the truth, but just because you believe something to be true doesn't mean it's true. Harishchandra was a famous king, and he was famous for being very truthful and very religious. He's one of the most famous kings in India. So one time, his guru, Vishwamitra, along with the 3 devas, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, decided to test him. They wanted to test him to see if he's really following his word. He had this idea that I am Satyavan, I'm always speaking the truth, and I'm always following my word. And he would give charity whatever was asked of him. So one night in his dream, his guru came in his dream and said, oh, disciple, I have come, now I want some bhiksha. So he said, what would you like? He said, I want your whole kingdom. So in his dream, he gave the whole kingdom to his guru Vishwamitra. The next morning, Vishwamitra arrived in the kingdom and his guru welcomed him, washed his feet, and then Gurudev said, do you remember the dream? And he said, yes. In the dream, you gave me the kingdom? Yes. So you give it to me. The dream state is ultimately not much different from the waking state. There's 3 phases of consciousness. Waking state of consciousness, sleeping state, in dream state, or without dreaming, deep sleep. Deep sleep or dreaming or waking. But then the higher level of consciousness, even beyond that, is being awake in true self-consciousness, self-realization. So Harishchandra said, okay, take it. So he gave him the kingdom. Now there's a rule that when you give something in India, if you give something valuable, you have to give money along with it. Otherwise it's not proper donation. Like there's a rule in India, when you give 100 rupees, you have to give 1 rupee also, 101 rupees. So if you give like a temple in donation, you're supposed to give like 1% of the value or a few percentages of the value in some money donation. Otherwise, how are you supposed to maintain that thing? Like we see even when girls are given in marriage, they give some dowry. The dowry is supposed to be given so that the husband is able to nicely maintain the wife. Later on, it became perverted. Originally, the idea was that the father would give a lot of wealth and jewelry and even maid servants so that the husband and the new family could very nicely take care of his bride like a princess. That was the idea. So Harishchandra's guru said, you gave me the kingdom, but you have to give me some dakshina with it. So what was the dakshina? He said, you should give me 10,000 gold coins. So he told his servant, okay, he told the treasurer, go bring 10,000 gold coins from the treasury and give it to my Gurudev. His Gurudev said, how are you going to give that? You gave the whole kingdom, the treasury's in the kingdom. So he said, okay, what can I do? He said, you can sell me your own body in slavery. This is or you can make some money and give me the money in return. This is the test of the Guru and the God. Sometimes Gurudev and Bhagavan will test us. So this is a prime example of this test. We see in the Old Testament, in the Bible, sometimes there's rules for slavery. But it said debt slavery. If someone has become indebted and they're not able to pay it back, then they may work to pay that back. And so they work for 5-6 years and pay it back. The rule is you work for 6 years and you can pay off any debt. That was the rule. So Harishchandra said, okay, I'll work and give you the money I get, 10,000 gold coins. So he said, my body and my wife and my son's body is worth 10,000 gold coins. So I'll work, but I don't have the money, so I'll go and work and get you the money and give it to you. So then he went outside and he had to give up his royal clothes. His wife had to give up her clothes, everything. He said, that's part of the kingdom. So he went out and he looked for a job. His wife got a job as a maidservant in a rich family's house, but they had to separate. They were not staying together. And then the husband, he got a job working in a cremation grounds. So his job was, his Gurudev gave him the job that every day you should bring dead bodies and burn them to ashes. And then you can start to understand what is truth. People think what is truthful is that I am Harishchandra and now I will do something. I have this doer mentality. And Krishna says, the demon's nature is that Ishvaroham aham bhogi. I am very powerful. I am a controller. And I will do sacrifices. I will give in charity and I will enjoy. And this is what is truthful. But ultimately, this is illusion. This is Maya. So therefore, his Gurudev wanted Harishchandra to understand what is real truth. So Guru will not test everyone unless they are qualified. Guru tests people who are able to withstand the test. If we are very weak, he will not give us a very difficult test. So Harishchandra was always giving charity and he was very religious and dharmic, so he got a very difficult test. So for a whole year, he was working in the cremation ground, every day burning bodies. And in the meantime, his wife was working for a rich man, but the man was not feeding her properly, and she was malnutritioned, and her son was 1 year old, and she was not giving him proper breast milk. Her son became very weak and died. So then, she also did not know where her husband was, and he did not know where she was. So it was late one night when her son died, and she went to the cremation ground, and it was a dark, stormy day like it is today. Except it was at night, not in the afternoon, so it was very dark, and you could not see each other's faces. And she came to the cremation ground, and her husband, Harishchandra, was at the gate. So he said, oh, you have come, you have an infant. He was saying, oh, I'm very sorry for you. Yes, we can come and do the cremation. She said, I have no money to cremate him. What can I do? He said, you can give half your cloth. She was wearing a sari. So she had to rip the upper part that she covers her head with. And she gave this. And so they went in, and as he was preparing, they have a funeral place, which is under some pavilion, because it was raining. So as they were going there, then a lightning flash struck, and he saw her face. And she saw his face, and he became overwhelmed at that point with grief, and he began to weep and lament. But he did not blame his guru, and he did not blame God. He said, this is my fate, this is my karma. And he took this. He did not think, oh, it's my guru's fault, and I will now criticize my guru. He accepted it. And when he had that mood of acceptance and humility, then there's a famous verse Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would quote, Tatenu kampam susamikshmano bunjana evadma kritam vipakam hridvag vapurvir vidan namaste jivete yo mukti pade sadvaya bhak. This is my karma. If we're able to accept whatever bad circumstances come to us as our own fruit of reaction, karma, then we open the doorway to liberation. So when he accepted this as his own karma, then the doorway to liberation opened. And Guru gives us liberation by awakening divine knowledge within us. So at that moment, his Guru appeared before him along with Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva. And they blessed him, saying, seeing your righteousness, seeing your virtue, we bless you with divine knowledge. You should know that you are not Harishchandra, you are the Atma, you are the soul within the body. The material body is transitory. You get one body for a certain amount of karma. According to that span of your karma, you will have a life, then you will die and get a new body, and then a new body. According to your karma, you will get a new body, and then you will have to enjoy your karma and suffer your karma again, according to your actions. But if you want to be liberated, then you must develop a process that transcends you from karma. You must follow the sadhana process that gets you out of the cycle of karma. That is only bhakti yoga. Bhakti yoga is the process to escape from the cycle of karma. And bhakti yoga is the process to awaken your true consciousness, your true self-identity. So that's why, at that point then, Harishchandra realized his true nature. Also, his Guru mercifully gave his son renewed life, and he gave his wife renewed health, and he gave back the kingdom and said, now, being established in truth, you can rule over your kingdom justly. And you can help people follow the path of truth. So this ties into the next point. So we learned the first two limbs of bhakti, Shravanam, Kirtanam. The next limb is Smaranam, remembrance or meditation. Absorbing your mind in meditation. And the fourth one is Pada Sevanam. So quickly we'll talk about Pada Sevanam because it relates to Harishchandra. Nowadays people like to say bhakti means, okay, you should serve mankind. Jeev Seva. Jiva Shiva, the Jiva is like God. Or Daridra Narayan. A poor man is God. And serve the poor man, that's the same as serving God. But our acharyas teach a different thing. They teach Jivedoya Krishna Nam Sarva Dharmasar. You should be compassionate towards all living entities. But you should understand what is genuine compassion. And unless you yourself are established on the platform of truth, then whatever you teach or try to help others will further their entrapment in Maya. Durga is the prison of Maya. So if you are only opening hospitals and feeding people without helping them awaken divine consciousness or self-realization, then you're only leading them to further suffer in the cycle of birth and death. Jesus Christ said that give a man a fish, feed him for a day. Teach him how to fish, feed him for a life. So our philosophy is not either of those. Our philosophy is that teach him how to follow bhakti yoga and save his life for millions of lifetimes. Instead of him having to suffer, you feed him for a day or feed him for a life, but then he's going to die and suffer again. So you should help them get out of the cycle of samsara. And so our Vaishnava acharyas, they will open hospitals, they will give medicine and charity, and they will feed people, but only by giving them spiritual instruction as well. Like Param Guru, they've opened a hospital inside the mutt. In ISKCON, they have a hospital, the Bhaktivedanta Hospital in Bombay, and all the doctors are devotees, and the whole day Harinam Kirtan is going on the audio PA system. So in this way, it's a spiritual environment. So Pada Sevanam means bhakti is not just about serving people, bhakti is about serving Krishna and awakening people's divine consciousness, knowing that I am the servant of Krishna. Jaiva Dharma is a famous verse. Jivera Swarupa Hoy, Krishnera Nitya Das, Krishnera Tathasta Shakti, Bed Abed Prakash. That our nature is to be the loving servants of Krishna. Krishna is the supreme absolute whole, and we are his part and parcels. And so our nature, our constitutional nature, is to have a loving relationship in service to him, just as Krishna serves. So our nature is to serve. We have to serve. But nowadays, in order to sell bhakti, people say, okay, bhakti means serving mankind, opening hospitals, opening charity centers, but they don't say that bhakti means awakening our true consciousness and our true identity as Krishna's servants. That's real seva. So Harishchandra's story comes along with this verse. Sarvapadi vinirmuktam tat paratvaina nirmalam hrishikena hrishikesha sevanam bhakti ruchite. Bhakti is seva, service, but once your consciousness is pure and you're established in your real nature. When Harishchandra was in the state of illusory life, I am Harishchandra, I am not the soul. At that time, he's not performing bhakti, he's performing karma. Parikshit Maharaj was the same thing. I am such a virtuous king, I'm taking care of all my subjects. But unless you're helping your subjects in bhakti, then that's not really beneficial. It's not bhakti, it's karma. And karma makes you stay stuck in the cycle of samsara, where you will be forced to suffer again and again. Maybe you can pause it and I'll get a drink of water. Radhe Radhe everybody. Please subscribe to our channel down there. Hit the bell icon for notifications. And if you already subscribed, share with your friends. Like, comment, that would be awesome. Thanks so much.